This once, I would like to hear you scream.
Play some rap music. Ride till I die. Lord knows I stay high and I love it. Yeah, and I love it. Let's go. We count hundreds on the table, 20s on the floor. Fresh out of work and on the way with some more. And I love it. And I love it.
So here is Uwe Boll, and a few recap of the week in a way. So I was in Toronto, and Toronto, like a lot of cities at the East Coast, if you go on a Thursday night at midnight in a restaurant, it's a good chance that it's full. In Vancouver or Los Angeles, if you go at 10 p.m. at a weekday in a restaurant, the chance that it's empty is 99%. People on the West Coast, they're at 5 a.m. in the gym. They just don't stay up so long. And Toronto or East Coast or New York, the cities never sleep. Big city, way bigger as Vancouver. So I'm kind of excited about Bauhaus Toronto. I met with the builders of my restaurant, and a lot of details we have to figure out. But it's a lot of progress, and Toronto looks overall good. And when the weather is good, in winter it's minus 20. But I was now in summertime there, so it was very exciting, very interesting. So, and then when I was in Toronto, the big shocker came with Anthony Bourdain dead. I mean, he's in my movie Far Cry, and one guy made a joke. He said because he saw first time Far Cry now, he is so ashamed that he's in Far Cry that he killed himself. But I think that is unfair to him too, and to me too. But of course, it was a joke. And we all like jokes in whatever situation of our lives. And but kind of bitter, right? So I loved the show on CNN. He traveling, reporting out of other countries, finding culinary hidden gems, and met big chefs around the globe, from El Bulli to, of course, everybody around the globe, basically. You know, it's like Paul Bocuse, who's dead now too. So I mean, it's very tough, but I think people who let's look at whatever Harvey Weinstein. I think he has all reasons to kill himself, but he did, and it is a real disease to be depressed, and that it's Heath Ledger or whatever. I mean, maybe it was an overdose, maybe it was suicide. You never know by a lot of people. And depression is a big problem for a lot of people, and they have to be watched. And friends, if they are worried about it, they should be on suicide watch, and they have to call the doctors and so on, and trying to save a life on a downward spiral. So very tough. Funny was also in Toronto, don't ever stay at the CN Tower Atlas Suites. The CN Tower is a big tower in Toronto, the highest building with a revolving restaurant. And I booked the Atlas Suites hotel or rooms or whatever at hotel.com or booking.com. And so I came in very late on Wednesday at around midnight, and then I recognized standing in front. First of all, I got a code. I had to go to a Pizza Rustica restaurant to get my fucking key out of an electronic box. So that I did. Then I was at the CN Tower and recognized there is, besides a revolving restaurant, absolutely nothing, especially not rooms. So then it was already after midnight, so I had to ask security people around. I said, where are the Atlas Suites? There's even no address on my reservations because it's CN Tower. So now I'm standing in the CN Tower. They said, no, here are no suites. I don't know where it is. So I walked around, found another guy. He said, yeah, maybe it's across the street there. So I went to the tower, and there was a guy actually opening me, like a receptionist. So I asked him, why I have to pick up the key 2 kilometers away in a pizza place if here is a reception? Why you don't have the keys? He said, no, he's a building manager. It's nothing to do with the hotel or whatever, the reservation. So I had 1219, suite 1219. So I went all the way up to 12 and went through the hallway. And after 1215, there was no further rooms. So I said, what the fuck? So I went back down. I asked the guy, there is no 1219. And then he said, no, that is then a different building. So you have to go back out. It was 1 a.m. at that point. Back out, go to the next building. So I went to the next building, went in the elevator, no 12th floor at all. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But then I went on the penthouse level. What is funny was the penthouse level, but above the penthouse level is the 13th floor and the 14th floor, so I totally didn't get it, but the 12th floor was the penthouse floor. And I got the room, what was not the penthouse, but so never stays there. And then on the way back, so on the day we have to check out, they want to charge you extra money if you check out after 10 a.m. And I went at 10 a.m. to the Pizza Rustica thing again, and it was closed. So I had to knock at the door, and a cleaning guy didn't want it to open, but then he opened finally, and I could put the key back in that electronic fob bullshit thing. Yeah, it was crazy. And then of course you read the G7 about Donald Trump, of course, losing it. The best is that he accused now Canada of the tariffs after he put the tariffs on, and then he's surprised that other countries are retaliation tariffs. So yeah, it's unbelievable. It's completely absurd. And he flipped, of course, out, but now he is off from the G7 and over to his best buddy, Kim Il-jung. Funny was also that he actually asked to get Putin to the G7, so it would be back to G8 with Russia involved. It's like, I mean, clearer you cannot like say, I'm Putin's bitch. He wants to be back on the table, right? It's unbelievable. But he put him back on the table. He wants to do it, but everybody else was against it. Besides the new Italian president, who finally, you remember I talked about it. He went up and down and back and forth, and now the Italian president is actually finally that professor who was never at Cambridge and never at the Sorbonne or anywhere outside of his pizza place in Rome South, is now finally the president of Italy. And the first thing he did in his first travel was to say to Trump, you're totally right, we should get Putin back. And that has to do with Berlusconi is a big Putin friend, and he is only the hand puppet of Berlusconi, who is now with 82 and too many bunga bunga parties, just too old to do it. Here we go. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a short recap of the week. In 10 days I fly to Germany and will focus on the World Championship Soccer. Yeah, yesterday Sean Searle, the documentary filmmaker who did the docu about me, showed the world premiere of the docu Fuck You All, Uwe Boll story, basically, in my Blenheim pub. And it was full, like 100 people. And the people really loved the movie, a lot of laughs about it. I could criticize it a lot. I could not criticize it a lot. I had also fun to watch it. I think it's a very good docu. It's way better as Raging Ball was, because it actually shows also clips from my movies, a lot of clips from making of my movies, and it doesn't have only the boxing fights and the critics and the geeks and the raspberries in the middle. So I think it flashes out a very big variety of me and my life. From this point of view, congratulations to Sean Searle, and I hope like Netflix or whatever, iTunes, they will all buy it. Bye. Behind those eyes, there is something